I'm going to be telling you how I'm going to be approaching the trading month of October 2025. I'm going to be talking you through my economical calendar cheat sheet. I make one of these every single month and I have done for years. This is what I print off and keep at my desk to help guide me through the month, and also what I send to the traders that I coach at the start of the month so that it can help guide them too. I think that one of the difficult things with trading and moving into trading is that in any other job, you often have someone there to guide you and to tell you how you're going to be approaching it, what you shouldn't be doing. In trading, often we're kind of left alone. So it's difficult enough as it is, but also we don't always have that person there to help guide us and to tell us why things work the way they do, or the best way to approach certain things. So if you are looking for a trading coach, then make sure to follow Trading Angel to stay up to date with all my future videos. I used to make one of these videos on the month ahead every month, and I'm going to continue doing that now because I think it's just really helpful and you can get a lot out of it. So if you think about approaching the month ahead as a retail trader, you want to be thinking about it just like any other job. So the start of the month is when you really start sort of planning for the month ahead. And a lot of that's to do with pre-planned news data that you know is coming up. So if you were to think about any other job that you had, at the start of the month, you would know exactly what days you were working, you'd know what times you were going to be working, and you'd know when all the key meetings were going to be. You'd also have unexpected things which came up along the way and were perhaps urgent and you needed to deal with them straight away. It's exactly the same in trading. So we've got a lot of pre-planned data, we've got a lot of things that we know are coming out and are happening, and we know the times in advance, but there's also going to be random stuff that comes up, the little surprises along the way, and we're going to have to deal with them as and when they come up. But the first thing you do is you just know what is pre-planned. So one of my core beliefs is that it's better to work fewer days as a trader and to be really, really, really strategic on the days that you work. So I've coached over 100 traders one-to-one now over the last 5 years. And one thing that I've noticed with a lot of the traders that come to me who've been trading for a while, but are struggling to make money from it, is that they say that they're trading at random times, or they're trading when they feel like it. So the first thing you want to think about is if you were an amateur at anything else. So say you play football on the weekend, you're an amateur footballer, you would pay to play and you do it for fun and when you feel like it. If you go from amateur to professional, there's going to be a lot of changes. So you're no longer paying to play, you're getting paid to play. And also the times that you're going to be playing at are going to be very fixed. You're going to know when they are in advance. And you're going to have to take it very seriously. You're going to have to take a lot of the training seriously, the match days seriously, how you behave seriously. And to be honest, it's probably going to take a bit of the fun out of it, but you get paid to play. So the payoff is that you do get paid, but it's not going to be as fun. So very similar in trading. A lot of people lose money when they're amateurs, but they actually enjoy it. So they kind of know that they're losing money and they don't mind. They've kind of made that decision. They're like, oh, well, I love it, I'm doing it anyway. But if you are serious about moving forward and getting paid, then you want to obviously approach it a little bit more professionally. So the first thing you want to do is just know what the month ahead is going to look like and plan your days, when you're going to work, when you're going to do other things very strategically. So I'm going to talk you through all of that in this video. If you are excited to learn, hit the thumbs up button before we get started. And also just let you know that trading is very risky, it's very high risk. Most people do lose money when they are trading. So in this video, by no means am I suggesting that anyone actually go ahead and live trade, especially if they are new. This is just letting you know how I approach my trading month as someone who's been trading for a long time, and how I would encourage you to think about the month ahead if you are hoping to be professional at some point. But by no means should you take this as you should trade on any given day. I would always encourage you to practice on a demo account anytime you're given any new information, rather than going straight to live or applying it straight to live. If you are completely new to trading, then probably the biggest takeaway that you'll get from this video is what days you shouldn't trade on and how the news events affect certain days. You'll probably get the most from this video if you are at that point where you've been trading for quite a while, but you are sort of hoping to move forward and actually make money from it and stop losing as much. And that's probably just because you're going to have to start making those shifts in your mindset about how to approach it professionally, and go from being an amateur to a professional. So the very first thing that I do is I want to be looking at where the big news releases are going to be that month. There's usually a little bit of a pattern to it, but it does change every month as well. Put a couple European and UK stuff in here as well, but to be honest with you, I only actually trade the US indices. So sometimes I just put in the big euro and pound pieces of news, just because I live in the UK, so I find it interesting myself and I want to know when they are. But also just because a couple of the traders that I coach do trade pound dollar or euro dollar, so it's useful for them to know. But nothing that happens in Europe or in the UK really has a big impact on the US indices. However, everything that happens in the US has an effect worldwide. So the first big things that I'm looking for are NFP, CPI, and interest rates decisions. These happen every single month. NFP is jobs data, and it usually comes out on the first Friday of every month. CPI is inflation data. It usually comes out around mid-month, and the interest rate decision can happen at any point in the month, and it's the decision on the interest rate. So those are the big three. And what tends to happen is that on those days, at the exact time, the exact second that that news is released, you get a huge injection of volume into the markets because they are huge pieces of economical data. So NFP comes out 1:30 UK time, so that's 8:30 in the US. CPI, same time, 1:30 p.m. UK time, 8:30 in the US. And the interest rate decision usually comes out at 7 p.m. in the UK. So that's 2 p.m. in the US on Eastern time. And the second it comes out, there's usually this huge injection of volume, as I mentioned, but preceding that, it's often very static and slow and difficult to trade in because the big traders are often not making decisions as they are awaiting the news to come out. So I find that it's really difficult for me to trade up to 2 days before. Now, there's going to be the odd day when the Wednesday before NFP is a really good trading day and I miss out on it. But I would rather miss out on the odd good day than spend every month trading the difficult days and lose money, because there's always going to be good opportunities coming up, and you have a good trading day when it's nice and easy. You can make 10% in one trade. You can lose a lot more than that just trading on the difficult days. So that's why I like to be really strategic with the days and the times that I work at, so that I'm giving myself the best opportunity to be around when it's easy and not when it's difficult. So I usually just put these little crosses here on the Wednesday and the Thursday before NFP to remind myself, just don't trade. I will usually just make other plans on these days. So whether that's putting in coaching calls so that I'm actually physically doing something else, or I'll make plans with my friends, or I'll make plans to go somewhere. I like to actually plan other things at the start of the month so that I know that I'm not here. Because sometimes if I'm sat at my desk and I'm like, oh, let me just have a look at the charts, then sometimes you can get sucked in, even if you don't mean to. So I do like to be completely away from my desk at these times. I will be around to work on NFP, but that doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to take a trade. Sometimes it's very good to trade on those days, and sometimes it's very difficult, and you don't really know which one it's going to be until the news has come out and until you've seen how the market has reacted to it. Whether I place a trade or not, I like to be around because often the big news releases will give you really good key levels. And I've talked about this in other videos before, so you'll know I'm a key levels trader. I love key levels, and if I'm around at the time when the news is released, I can just draw my key levels then and there, and then the market will often come back to them at other points during the month. So it's kind of like I'm just doing myself a favor for the month ahead by getting those lines put up the second they come out. Same for CPI and same for the interest rate decision. I will always be there to draw on the key levels that come out of that news release, but I won't necessarily take a trade unless the conditions are right. But I will always be there available to work, but I won't work the days before, 2 days before. So that applies to all of them. Often the days after can be quite nice because you've had that news that's come out. So the market will know how it wants to react to it. So I will usually try to be around for the day after if it's not a weekend, because sometimes you can get a little bit more certainty in the direction. On central bank speeches, I'm really, really careful. I usually don't trade them, but again, I'll kind of want to see if there's anything big or abnormal that comes out of it. So I'll usually watch and listen and sort of understand what's going on, but I don't necessarily get involved unless something looks particularly interesting. But the main thing is you want to know the times that the central bank speeches are happening so that you can sit out, because you definitely don't want to be trading your normal strategy when there's a speech happening, because that's going to take over. On Thursdays, there's almost always high impact news that comes out. It usually comes out at 1:30 in the afternoon in the UK. The US stock market opens at 2:30. So when New York opens, you've already had the news or the data an hour before. You can use that to help you make a decision. Sometimes it can be very good if all the news is in alignment, and other times it can be really difficult if it's all indecisive. So you just want to be aware that the high impact news is coming out. There's usually a lot of it, and you just want to make sure you understand it before you go ahead and make any big decisions. So on the whole, that's how I'm going to be approaching it, just at a glance. But obviously there's going to be things that are coming up in the month that I don't know about. There's going to be little surprises. There'll probably be meetings, and Donald Trump might say something, and then it's all going to change. But just at the start of the month, these are the days that I know I'm definitely not going to be working at. And I know the days that I'm definitely going to be at my desk drawing on my key levels and seeing the news and when it's released. And then the rest of it, I just have to take as it comes. If I see a good opportunity, I will take it. If I don't, I would rather sit out. It's better to only trade one day of the whole month and have that be an easy day and an easy trade than to be losing money, desperately trying to get into trades on every single day. Hope you found this video helpful. If you would like an economical calendar cheat sheet for October 2025, then make sure you send an email to info@tradingangel.co.uk and call it October 2025.